Is it still on? I can't tell. Huh. He ran with it. I popped the planer board. He must have grabbed the end of the bait. I wanted to start this video out with some action. And I'm just gonna simply ask the question, should I be using sinker slides? I'm actually using Dieter Melhorn's rig. He just did a short on it, I don't know how long ago. The short was suggested to me and I watched it. And what he does, especially with his dragging setups, he uses a snap swivel. I've taken Dieter's idea and changed it a little bit for my own setup. I bought a bunch of snap swivels, and these are 3/0 snap swivels. And as you can see, I took the snap off because these Dirty South dragging weights already have a snap, basically turning it into a barrel swivel. Now you might ask, how in the world am I going to switch this to a bottom rig? And I will show you here in a moment. Get this back out here first. This is kind of a test run too. Get my planer board back on here. Get it back out in the water. Oh, and have it unclip. Oops. Now I don't know if it's warm enough for the bigger fish to be in shallow water. All this water around here is 7 to 10 feet. But I am going to try it anyway to see if they're actually here. And I guess this is one of my bad habits. I like casting out my bait and then putting the planer board on it. The areas I fish, especially the shallow areas I fish, I really want to get the bait out away from the boat quickly and back, you know, in front of the fisher's face. There we go. All right, while that's getting pulled out, let me show you what I'm going to do when I bottom fish with that rig. Of course, it's not pulling out, or barely pulling out. I'm not going that fast. I'm only going 0.5 miles per hour, maybe 0.6. Now, if I bottom fish with these, I'm going to have to use a clip on my sinker. In fact, this is the clip that came off of that snap swivel, that 3/0 snap swivel. So I just take the sinker slide off and clip this on it. Now there's really nothing holding me back from using the dragging sinker as my bottom fishing sinker. However, I like using these river sinkers. They really stick to the bottom, so once they hit the bottom, they are not going to move at all, even in current. It's got to be a really, really good current for these to get moved. And if I'm seeing a current like that, then I probably should be using 10-ounce sinkers, 10-ounce river sinkers. Now the drawback for using it like this is the line will not get pulled. The fish will feel the weight every single time. In fact, it's quite possible that missed fish was because I'm not using a sinker slide. It grabbed the end of the bait, it felt the weight when it pulled on it, and instead of inhaling the bait further, it let go. When I was using sinker slides on here, it would pull the line just enough to maybe let it inhale the bait. I do want to know your opinion on this matter, so please leave a comment below. Do you think, even from a boat, I should be using sinker slides? Now for bank fishing, I definitely will still be using sinker slides because I want the fish to run with the bait. Now let's see if I can actually catch a fish on these new rigs. That's a fish. Yeah. That was a good fish. I forgot to hit record. Oh, I'm gonna have to step down here. Hit record manually on the camera. I have exactly 1 minute to do that with the pre-record feature. I was just about to give up and try deeper water. And then this guy decided to hit. So I might try to continue turning here and going back into the cove here. He's a little guy, but I'll take him. He sure hit this hard. Really light colored too. There must be little oxygen in the water. The lighter the color they are, the less oxygen there is, at least from what I've been told. I am dragging a really muddy cove, and he is biting down really good. Cool. Got a catfish in the boat. Now let's see if I can get a couple more and get the boat turned properly. Airplane. There is a little regional airport nearby. Uh-oh. I think that's a snag. I hope it pops. Nope. Oh. That must be the beginning of the underwater island. To the right here is kind of an underwater island. I get hung on it almost every single time I get near it. There we go. It's always good not to lose gear. This stuff is not cheap. Although not using a sinker slide does make it a little bit cheaper. I'll show you the rigging on this one real quick. A-Dot Team Catfish double action circle hook, straw snelled to 80-pound leader line. I got a couple of beads and a rattle and another bead. And this is a spook. I think I got these from Alibaba. What you're seeing on the inside is black mold. Water is intruding on it. This is one of my older rigs. Eventually it'll be replaced with the Whisker Seeker EVA foam float thingy. I like those better. And then I've already talked about that rig. I just send it out there about 60 feet, put the planer board on, and then put another 60 feet out and hope I don't get snagged. This Akuma cold water does help with knowing where the line is because it's got a line counter on it, so I can see how many feet out my line is. So I let it pull to about 120 feet and then lock it down. The model is CW203D, so it's a 200 size bait caster. All right, once I make it to the back of this cove, I'm going to run out of here and start looking for deeper water. See if I can get a big one in the deep water. I got these dragging sinkers, these Dirty South dragging sinkers, because I wanted to drag in more deeper water. They're 4 ounce, so they're perfect for that 30 foot of water, or 50. I could actually make dragging sinkers like that if I wanted to, but I don't know, I'd rather let someone else do it. It makes my life easier and it helps support a small business. And I see a bird on the shore over there, so maybe I'll get lucky. got himself a snack. Oh. I don't know if that was a snag or a fish. It's been a little bit. I don't think the fish are thick back here yet. Is that a fish? I think that's a fish. Running with it. Whoa. I think there's a crappie tree out here somewhere. Gotta be careful not to get wrapped around it. Oh, it's wrapped around my other line though. Alright, let's turn the trolling motor off. Now this is my island spot. I will bank on this island in the winter time and throw out in here to catch fish. And this is a good sign. This is the third fish, or at least possible third fish I could have caught here. On the way, out, we had that one bite right at the beginning of the video, and then had the bite back there on that one, and then now this fish. Not bad. Almost net size. I think I can hand land them. Nice. Look how light colored that is. Just like the other one. Must be low oxygen back here. Let me know in the comments below, is this why this guy is so white? Is it because lack of oxygen? It's talking to us. Very nice. All right, I'm gonna let him go. Let him grow. I think instead of going to deep water, I'm going to my island and I'm going to put 6 rods out and see what I can catch. That way I can do a good test of this rig as a Carolina rig? A Santee Cooper rig? I forgot what it's called. Where you basically have a little float and then you have your weight. So basically this will float the bait up off the bottom. We're in 8 foot of water right now, and this is pretty much where I'm going to be casting into. So this leader line shouldn't be too terribly long. Especially since it doesn't have a sinker slide, it will hold it on the bottom and not let the line slip up to the top of the water. All right, time to get butted up to the bank. Low water alarm. There we go. Use my talons to hold me in place. Now, I think I'm going to be lazy here at first. Let's see what it looks like to cast one of these long ones out with the dragon weight on it. I don't have to worry about current here. That is not far at all. Let's try this one. A little bit further. Now let me get bait on the others. All right, no sinker slide. It goes further. Definitely goes further. Here's the one with the sinker slide. And this is an actual bottom rig. The leader line is not as long as my dragon rigs. It's about, the length of my forearm. Cast about the same. Oh, hello. Well, I'm messing with this. Already got one on. I don't have all my rods out. And this is the one without the sinker slide too. Hooked it up really good. Or at least we get to see how good it hooked it. Cool. Yeah. I will admit this spot has a lot of babies, especially in the wintertime like this. That is why I'm using smaller baits. And I hooked them good. No weird hook, although it is in the bottom lip. Well, I guess you get to keep the bait, dude. Won't let him keep the bait. Look at that. He's got it stuffed in his face. Cool. Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the babies are back here. All the eater-sized catfish. I know a lot of you want me to catch 50-pounders all day long, but hey, I don't mind catching these guys. They're just as fun. It's better than not catching a fish. And he got himself a little snack to go back with him. All right, no sinker slide again. I didn't give that one any oomph, but it cast pretty well. All right, 2 more rods. All right, this one, sinker slide. I will admit these bottom rigs do cast better. That's kind of what, they're built for. And that's why when I do a bank fishing rig, it's got a leader line about that big, just so it casts better. Now to get the last rod out. All right, I'm going to put a much bigger piece on this one and toss it in the direction of where I got a 30-pound flathead in the middle of wintertime here once. All right, let's see if I can catch a couple more small ones, and then I may go dragging deeper water. Depends on what time it is and how hungry I am. Well, no fish. Outside of, I noticed this one's in a little bit. Maybe there's a fish on this one. Nope. I don't know where they went. There are some birds around here feeding, and there's a lot of bait. But the catfish are just not in here heavy. So I am going to move to dragging the river channel. And it's about 30 to 50 foot deep. Well, the birds are out here in the deeper water. Uh-oh, telephone call. Oh boy. Hung up in the deep water. It's not going to pop. Oh, there we go. It popped. I am seeing a ton of fish on the sonar, and I actually think they're paddlefish, which would be pretty much impossible to catch on a rig like this, but you never know. Who knows, I might accidentally hook one. In these deeper waters, I'm using bigger baits too, hoping for that bigger fish. Well, that's getting bound up a little bit. Fixed itself. I got a little wind blowing me sideways too, making it hard to stay on this channel edge. And I'm putting out way more line, like 80 foot of line, for the 48 foot of water that I'm in right now. And the water on the channel edge, which is on the right side, goes up to about 20 to 30 feet. Now, I'm not seeing anything on the 20 to 30 feet, but when I go down here to this really deep water, the sonar lights up. Now, I am on an outside of a bend, and it goes to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to follow this entire bend. I'm going to turn around and go on the other side, because I've caught some nice catfish at a couple of humps on that side of the river. At a fish. I think we got a fish on, maybe. Or snag. I can't really tell. Huh. Definitely getting a better spread here going upstream than I was going downstream. Basically, the current is going that way. So when I was going that way with the boat, the planer boards were all together behind the boat. But going this way, they've spread out. I don't think this is a big fish, but we will find out. And another little guy. I'm in 39 feet of water. So I've caught little catfish in, what, 8 foot of water? And now 40 foot of water. He choked it. I'm going to let him keep the bait. He's got it in his mouth, just like that other one. He's not bloated or anything, so he came up slow enough to get the gas out of him. But hey, some days you only catch small ones. Out here, well, I've caught a couple of smaller ones out here, but I've caught some 40s out here too. I'm gonna let him go with his little snack, and maybe he'll become a 40-pounder someday. Now I am going to keep going here, although the sun is now going down, so I may have to put my lights up. I do want to get to a certain point on this drag, and well, it might be dark by the time I'm done. I don't know. I'm still only going 0.5 to 0.6 miles per hour in this super deep water. And it seems to be easier to do with me going against this current. I've got about 2 more football fields to go before I get to the big fish humps. Well, while I was changing my battery out, got a snag. I'm going to have to reel everything up. And see if I can get to the other side of the snag to pull it out. Alright, get to the other side, see if it will pop. Well, it did. I don't know when it popped, but it did pop. think I'm going to fast forward myself here to these humps and then drag over them and see if I can catch something. And if I don't catch anything, I will call it. It's been a pretty good day on the water. Caught a couple of fish on the new rigs, so they work. I still want to know your guys' thoughts on this rig, so leave a comment below if you haven't yet. Well, I went over the humps and didn't get anything. Not a bite, nothing. I did see fish on the sonar. Who knows what the fish were? Maybe the big fish today have lockjaw, or they're in a different part of the lake. Still, like I said earlier, it was a good day to be out on the water. And I'd definitely love to take one of you out fishing with me. I am a licensed and insured fishing guide, so check out fishingwithbilly.com to see what my guide service is about. Now I'm going to reel these up and head back to the ramp and head home. I've got a package waiting for me with some artificial baits that I will be fishing with sometime in the future. So stay tuned to my channel, make sure you're subscribed, and as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll get some bigger fish or some more unique fish in the boat next time.